Last time on Square Roots, Faye made a bit of a whoopsie with his gear and disintegrated a village, and now everyone won't shut up about it. Listen, Dan, if you don't stop crying, I swear to God I'll turn this mech around and we'll all go home.
Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Heyo.
John Seitan Brandon.
Whoopsie,
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about all your favorite classic RPGs, one chunk at a time. We are just getting our feet wet with Xenogears.
We're slowly sinking into the frigid waters of Xenogears.
Dipping our little tootsies in there.
Next episode, we're going to be up to our nipples.
No, I don't want wet feet. I want to wear my moisture-wicking socks.
Ooh.
Do you have moisture-wicking socks?
Yeah, don't put those in the ocean or you'll suck up the whole ocean. That'd be bad.
That would be terrible. Think of all the porpoises just floundering on the floor of the ocean.
Think about how tall it would make you, though.
Yeah, like
it would make me pretty tall.
You would be so powerful.
I would be. I would be like, I am Neptune now. Bow to me and my mighty tides.
But if you walk too hard on your socks, then they'll squish out and all the oceans will come back.
You could put an ocean wherever you wanted.
That would be my ultimate power. Yeah. It's like I could go to the middle of wherever and just stomp my little foot and the whole ocean would come out.
Although what we're talking about is the opposite of moisture wicking. What we're talking about, wicking keeps moisture away. It doesn't absorb it.
It doesn't?
No.
I thought that's what moisture wicking does. It keeps the moisture in the sock.
No, it keeps it away.
Over. Don't wear those in the ocean, or the ocean will all zip away from you. And
or the ocean will repel outwards and create a tsunami.
Does that mean she could walk on water with those?
It means I can part the Red Sea. Is that what Moses had?
If somebody dropped Vanessa in her moisture wicking socks from a helicopter, she would plunge straight to the ocean floor, and it would cause a massive tsunami.
My God.
Hang on, how heavy are you suggesting Vanessa is?
I'm saying it's because of the socks, not because of
the
her
socks,
mass.
the weight of water.
I mean, then it's still just the weight of one woman heading straight down.
That's the power of moisture wicking technology.
It's just a really unfortunate death.
The sock's gravitational push is greater than my personal gravitational push, which I would count as almost nil.
Oh, so you think the socks it'll pick up speed the more it wicks, turning you into like a human bullet?
Yes.
Moisture wicking. The wicking equation is speed times absorbency times negative absorbency equals wick.
So, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Vanessa? Which fish man is more attractive? Mr. Limpet turned into a fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a cartoon fish.
The Incredible Mr. Limpet or Fishman from Shape of Water?
Wait a minute. Does Aquaman not get to be involved in this?
What about
and
Seaman?
Aquaman. Oh, yeah, Seaman from the video game Seaman,
sure.
Sure.
From that terrible game Seaman.
All right, well, this is
Does Echo the Dolphin count? Dolphins don't count.
No, that's just an
animal.
animal.
A dolphin. Yeah. If the question is which is more attractive, a man or a dolphin, I can easily answer that question. But
it's not too hard because Aquaman's in there. So
okay,
I served that up for you. You're welcome.
You did. I'm just gonna kind of work my way through it. Between Mr. Limpet.
That's Don Knotts, one of the weirdest looking men that's ever existed.
But in fish form, to be fair.
In fish form, yeah.
In animated fish form.
Yeah. The thing about
Can he
Mr.
exist
Limpet,
outside of your television?
Well, yeah.
As long as he's in the water, yeah.
What, haven't you seen Cool World, Matt?
Yep.
So, the thing about Mr. Limpet, as compared to Shape of Water or Fishman, is that one is a fish man, sort of with emphasis on the man part, whereas Mr. Limpet is just like a fish with eyeglasses on its nose.
That's true.
Insofar as the fish has a nose.
He doesn't really have any human features except for his masculine Don Knotts voice.
He has Don Knotts' voice. He sort of has
his
lips.
masculine Don Knotts voice. Whoa!
Oh, Vanessa!
Oh, fish!
I thought your roommate was a homosexual.
I'm digging in a sheriff, so bad news, boys.
This is the worst episode we've ever done.
I guess this fish sort of has human eyes as well, albeit animated human eyes. So I would say that between Mr. Limpet, the fish form, and Shape of Water Guy, it's going to be Shape of Water Guy because I generally am not attracted to animated characters or fish. Between Don Knotts and the Shape of Water Guy, still Shape of Water Guy. Sorry, Don.
That's fair.
She's a real furry.
Yeah, and I haven't even seen Shape of Water.
She's a real scaly.
You've never seen Shape of Water?
I never seen Shape of Water.
It's good.
It is good.
I've heard it's good, but I don't have any love in my heart, so I tend to stay away from romances.
I will ask you to revisit that statement when you talk about your level up.
Okay. And who was my other? Aquaman and Seaman?
Yeah, I put Seaman into the group chat just so that you have
a reference. Okay, so Seaman is a fish with a human face.
Yeah.
And like a protrusion or antenna on top of its head.
Antenna, yeah.
And
Antenna.
Antenna.
My accent. Oh my god.
Yeah. When you work at the diner, you talk about, oh, that's a nice antenna you got there, Seaman. Can I freshen up a cup?
And the other option is Jason Momoa. So I'm going to go with Jason Momoa over the...
I kind of assumed you'd go with the fish man.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to think. And you're very incorrect.
I don't know.
So now we have a final between the Shape of Water fish man and Jason Momoa. Neither are particularly my type.
He's a bit more of a beefy boy.
He's a bit beefier than I generally look for.
Who plays Fishman?
Fishman is what's his name?
Yeah.
Is it Toby Jones? Or not Toby Jones. We're talking about Fishman from Shape of Water?
Yeah. He's Toby.
It's Toby something.
No, it's something Jones.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the Star Trek Discovery, right?
Yeah, the guy in Discovery. I can't remember his name right.
Doug Jones.
If it's a question between Doug Jones and Jason Momoa, well, I guess no, that's not the question, is it?
Have you seen the length of Doug Jones's fingers?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I have. Yeah, I guess Jason Momoa is going to win over this Fishman.
Okay.
Although, I don't know, like, looking at pictures of this Fishman kind of looks like Thane from Mass Effect 2. Who I did find quite compelling.
Yeah.
You did like Thane.
It may be that I'm unable to conclusively decide between these two hunks until I see Shape of Water for myself.
Yeah. It does explain how his genitals work. Spoiler.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's an advantage that it would have over Jason Momoa because I do not know how Jason Momoa's genitals work.
Well, specifically
nobody
Aquaman's.
does.
Yeah, I mean, I can make an educated guess.
I mean, he seems to be able to sleep with merwomen, but that doesn't mean that he can sleep with regular women.
Do you think he sperms out tadpoles?
Yeah, well, no, he doesn't sperm
everyone?
out tadpoles,
that's
Jim.
true.
Vanessa has to release a clutch. Okay, all right, let's move on.
Oh, jeez. Well, I guess this is as good a time as any to transition to hot gaming news.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like there's been some hot gaming news.
I've got one. I've got the biggest, hottest gaming news in the world.
Matt's
if
got
you're my
it.
mom. That's right. World of Warcraft has a new expansion coming out after 9 years.
Wow, what's it called?
Yeah, Dragon Flight, something like that. And I think they're introducing like a Dragon Man race.
Is it going to be hot
cool.
like Drago from Ring Fit?
Yeah, they look like big, beefy dragon boys.
I got to go.
Well, I don't think it's out yet, John. But yeah, that's big news. Good for World of Warcraft. Will they get more subscribers? Who knows?
Probably.
They're sort of third place now, aren't they, or something like that? They're definitely below Final Fantasy 14.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not. And Elder Scrolls Online is, I think, the big American one now. I don't think Warcraft is anywhere in the. I could be wrong.
I thought
Maybe they still
Final
have
Fantasy
millions and
14 was
millions.
over Elder Scrolls, but I could be wrong.
I'm not saying it's not. I don't know, but I'm saying I know that Elder Scrolls is very large these days, and so is Final Fantasy 14.
Is Fortnite
doubt
an MMO?
No,
Okay.
it's a battle
got some-
royale.
Yeah, I got some hot gaming news about Fortnite. They're putting that Moon Knight right in there.
Ooh.
It's exciting.
And yeah, you can look like Moon Knight #1 with the hood, or Moon Knight #2 with the 3-piece suit.
That version is called Mr. Knight. That's not from the show. That's just comic book knowledge.
Oh, not
So
what I call it,
I have some
What do you
hot
call it?
gaming news.
Daddy.
I do too.
You go first, John.
Okay. Well, there has been a leak out of South Korea about PS1 games coming to PS5 and PS2 games. Just a little smattering of them have been leaked. Let me just. I'm not going to go into every game, but I just want to
Can
know
I just
if you're.
guess? Not a game. Can I just guess up front that Sony is planning on launching a something similar to what Nintendo is doing, like a super shitty
they
version
already-
of Game Pass?
They already
their old
announced it.
games.
They already announced it, and
yes,
it's pretty lame. Yeah,
It's got like 8 tiers, and the most expensive one's like $200 a year or something. Although I
Wow,
guess
get
so
fucked.
is
$200 a year is less than what Game Pass costs.
Yeah, that's
though.
what I was gonna say. Because I think I have the Ultimate thing, and I think that's like $25
$10
a
a month.
month or something.
Well, the non-ultimate just for your Xbox is $10 a month, so that's $120 a year.
I got the one
And
that
you
has
definitely
gold.
get it cheaper if you buy it in larger packages, which
Yeah.
If you want to like pay it all at once.
So, Siphon Filter, is that thumbs up or
Whoa,
thumbs
cool.
down?
Yeah, Siphon Filter's a great game.
All right, I like it too. Vanessa, any thoughts?
I stopped paying attention.
Okay, also Siphon Filter 2 and Siphon Filter Dark Mirror on PS2 and PSP.
I never played Dark Mirror.
I guess that's it. It's just Siphon. They leaked that they're just doing all these Siphon Filter
All
games. Sorry, I thought
right.
there's gonna be more. Yeah, Dark Mirror and Logan Shadow. I never played either of those. Like Logan Shadow
Neither.
came out on PSP in 2007. I
I
got a
played-
PSP in 2009. So
I
missed
played
that
a
one.
lot of the first Siphon Filter and a little bit of the second one, and then that was it for me.
I finished the second one. The thing I liked about Siphon Filter was I liked the size of the levels. Like they had a lot.
Yeah.
You could, because with Metal Gear, like the whole game fits inside one Siphon Filter level, but it is a much better level. Like Metal Gear's better crafted, it's a much better made game, but I kind
Yeah.
of liked that you could play this one more.
I
It
felt
had
like
more to
the
do.
UI for Siphon Filter was more intuitive, and that made a stealth game easier to play for me.
But he does run like he has baggy diapers.
He does, yeah. The character animation's not great.
So yeah, the big gaming news I found is just Siphon Filter.
I've got one. I think it's kind of a. This is like hard. This is like news. Not just gaming news, but I think we all heard about the Netflix earnings woes this past week, where they lost.
Yeah, because last week you doxed me as the CEO of Netflix and called me
I
out
didn't. I
for
think
my,
Matt did.
my
No.
atrophying subscriber numbers.
Yeah, so, but reportedly, after their terrible subscriber loss numbers, they are according to the industry insiders, doubling down on gaming, which means they're really fast forwarding development on there, because it's been kind of a thing for like a few years. Like Netflix is getting into gaming, and it's gonna that's always been kind of a thing that's been in the background for like the past 3 years, but now I guess because they're not seeing good revenue numbers in video, they are really going to lean into gaming.
It's one of the most profitable companies in the world.
Yeah. Does anyone want to play a game like that? I guess
they've
Roblox
got
is
games,
like that, right?
They've got games on Netflix now. It's like Fruit Ninja and Angry Birds.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Are there?
Can you play Fortnite on Netflix?
No, you cannot.
Why would I do that, though?
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
question.
know. Because they want to run that business into the ground.
I feel like
Netflix wants to really follow in the footsteps of Blockbuster, you know?
Well, I feel like there's an interesting business model there. Like, I feel like Stadia was a really interesting thing that was just really poorly executed, but maybe could have taken off in the right circumstances. Maybe there's some white space there, who knows, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I really don't think there's a big market for because the games that they want to put that
That's the thing, is it really comes down to selection,
game
right?
makers want to make are gotcha games these days.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to deal with that shit on their TV. Or if people do, it's going to be the people that were dealing with it on their phone already, and all it's going to do is turn everybody else off.
Well, that's the thing that really tanked Stadia is catalog. They just had no fucking games. They went all in on Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk came out on release and tripped on its own dick immediately, so... it was bad, and so that was, but I feel like there's a version of that could be good. I think cloud gaming, even Microsoft is getting into cloud gaming, and I feel like that's a thing that could be good if you have a good internet connection.
Some games, I played Forgotten City, half of it on the cloud, and it was fine as long as no one else in the house was using the internet. But the second anyone did, it just was unplayable.
See, that's the thing, is I feel like in the United States too, the broadband infrastructure is not robust enough to support a big cloud gaming network, but we'll see. Maybe it can happen.
That's it for HGN.
We can level up now.
Yay!
Who wants to go first? You know what, I want to hear Vanessa. I want to hear about Vanessa's level up.
I finally got myself out of the house to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is breaking news. It was mere hours ago that I saw this movie.
Wow.
And I can't remember liking a movie as much as I liked that one for a bit of a time. It was so good. It was funny. It was beautiful. I was crying through the second half of it, basically. Mm-hmm. Michelle Yeoh was great. Stephanie Hsu, who plays her daughter, who I was not familiar with at all, was great.
Incredible costumes they gave her too.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. Ki Hoi Kwan. What a pleasure to see him doing an adult role.
And he's fantastic.
He's great in it. And
he's the most charming guy in the world.
Yeah, he's super charming. And then he kind of has the opportunity to, I won't get into spoilers, but this is, he has the opportunity to be very diverse in what he's delivering.
I feel like the central cast of that film, they all get the opportunity to have such range. Mm-hmm. And they all just nail it. Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis was great.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it had a couple people who I wasn't expecting to see, like Jenny Slate and Harry Shum, both of whom I like a lot. So it was just kind of a extra bonus pleasure to see them in it. I think it's wonderful. And it's one of those movies where, I'm not a big award season kind of person. But there have been a few movies where I'm if this movie does not win, it's going to feel really unjust to me. And those movies were 12 Years a Slave, which won Best Picture that year, Into the Spider-Verse, which won Best Animated Film, and now Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's such a special movie. It's like I can't remember seeing anything like it. It's so like unique. It's just so I love it so much.
Yeah, and really kind of universal themes of, struggling with depression, and especially, I think, after lockdown and everything that's going on now, sort of feeling like you're atrophying and are not in control of your own life. And it was just great.
Yeah, and like
I
such an emphasis on just like kindness being the cure for like all that stuff. I loved it.
It was great, and if Michelle Yeoh doesn't get an Oscar, at least nomination, although I certainly think that she deserves to win, then I don't know what anyone is doing anymore. Like, what's even the point of it? Although the movie would tell me, just appreciate what you have. So I will. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Go see it. Don't look up very much before you go to see it, because you really do kind of want to go in blind to it. And just like used the conceit of filmmaking in really clever ways.
And like, man, it's hard to like pin it to a genre other than like kind of sci-fi, but it has such good action in it. Like all the action scenes are so like tight and so well done and so funny and goofy and but still like so cool. Like, oh man, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think it would like best to be categorized as a comedy sci-fi, but again, like a comedy sci-fi that, if you're me, will make you just cry and cry and cry.
Even the big action set piece in the third act, like I can't remember an action set piece making me tear up and cry like that one did. And it's just, yeah, it's so affecting.
Yeah, and it's crass in some places and crude in a way that almost verged on like a scary movie, kind of thing. Like it goes that blue. But I thought it was great. I love it. I can't wait to watch it again.
In a way where they're like, it feels grounded, not because like with those scary movies, it's crass, but they're just like, it's like a machine gun of crass jokes,
right?
And
yeah.
This one, like they're there and they're funny, but they're grounded, and you don't like get tired of them.
Yeah, it was really good. I also leveled up by seeing a preview for some movie about a snail shell that wants to find
Marcel
its
the
family.
Shell.
Yeah, Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Is that?
It was a short.
Wait, let me tell you my theory.
Oh.
My theory was that it's like a YouTube video.
It was. It's weird. It's like that's a really interesting story, because what was that, John? Back in like 2010-ish?
Yeah, around then.
When
Jenny Slate did them.
Yeah, Jenny Slate did them.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't care for this snail, and I probably won't see that movie.
I thought it looked very
Wow.
sweet. Yeah, but I respect your opinion.
Yeah, I don't
very
know if it can
much.
hold 90 minutes is my one.
Yeah.
That's my
thing.
thing too. Is yeah.
That seems like a lot of that snail.
Yeah.
It's not even a snail, it's just the shell.
Just a shell.
And it's A24, so the movie's going to be at least 2 hours and 15 minutes. So
with one weird cum shot.
yeah.
One thing I will say that I forgot to say about Everything Everywhere All at Once is that I think part of the reason it made me cry so much is that Claire de Lune always makes me cry, and they kind of used that piece of music throughout, and it got me. Got me when they used it in Soul. Got me when they used it in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, Soul is a movie that it's hard to revisit because it made me cry so hard the first time I watched it.
It's because they got that freaking Claire de Lune in there.
I know.
That piece of music was just written to bring tears. Once I read a book
I didn't see
about... Oh, you haven't seen it?
You haven't seen Soul?
I haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, you should.
Johnny said that everyone had except me.
I haven't seen
I
it.
was wrong. Can't I be wrong, Vanessa? Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time.
Once I read a book
basically.
about people's taste and how that associates with class. It's this huge book, and it was written in the 1970s and mostly dealt with French people, so I don't really know how
I
relevant
feel like
it is.
that would be a really interesting book to read post Reaganomics.
Yeah, it was very kind of strange and old-fashioned, but interesting. And they said that Claire de Lune was preferred by middle class or poor people over the wealthy
Oh.
because it's too pedestrian. And that's your fun fact about Debussy's
Wow.
Claire de Lune.
Debussy.
Other films that have featured this piece of music are Fantasia, Godzilla King of Monsters, Frankie and Johnny, The Twilight Saga, The Right Stuff, Westworld, the TV show, La Raphael, The Purge, Music for Millions, and Ocean's 11. And Soul. Matt, how did you level up?
Veep. Have any of
He's just
you
making
seen the
noises
show Veep?
No. Actually, I saw the first few episodes.
Okay.
I'm-
Well,
Aware of its existence.
Veep is a show that I saw called the closest to real-world politics a television show has ever come. Or something like that.
I believe it.
Anyway, I've been watching Veep. It's an HBO show starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus and a hefty cast, and where she plays the Vice President of the United States. Everybody's heard of it, I imagine, so I guess I won't explain it too much, but I decided to give it a rewatch after I finished Arrested Development, and it's wonderful. It's great. It's hilarious. It's
That's
funny.
one of the shows that's like always on my to-do list, but I never really get around to watching it. Maybe I'll finally check it out.
It's so funny. Like, I belly laugh like crazy every episode. I remember when it was first coming out, I found it very like cringe-inducing, but it no longer bothers me.
It's pretty hard
So
to
I guess-
watch. As like-
It's not though. It used to be. I don't find it hard to watch
Yeah.
anymore. I think maybe I've become desensitized to the cringe, which is why I think next I'll be trying Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, that's a good show.
Anyway, that's it. Veep. Check it out. The whole thing is on HBO now. It finished season 7 recently, or a couple of years ago. That was the last season. It's been a stretch. She wasn't the Veep for a long time, and she was president for a while. You know, like it gets weird, but
Spoilers.
people
Well, but that
shift
kinda makes it-
around.
Interesting.
People shift around too. So people in the first season that are her staff in later seasons will not be her staff, but are still big parts of the show. Everybody does hang around. I think in the first or second season she fires somebody, and I remember being like, "Oh my god!" But having watched it now, it's like it meant nothing. Like the character was still in every episode, you know. So yeah, check out Veep. It's legitimately hilarious, and it is over. So if you want something to watch that's bingeable. Hugh Laurie is in a large part of the second half of the series, and he's delightful. Tons of great cameos. Everybody you can think of practically from the comedy scene is in this show. Anyway, that's it. And I did buy a bunch of games on Xbox, but I haven't really played them yet, so I guess my future level ups. Well, I bought Torchlight 2, which I've been playing a bunch.
Okay. What else?
Because that has online capabilities, and I'm excited about that. I actually bought that also for my friend Paul. I gifted it to him because it was on sale for $5.
Will he play it?
I don't know, but I'm going to try because at least
I
it
like
gives me something to
Torchlight
do with
1.
that guy other than PUBG. Torchlight 2 is great. Torchlight 3 is trash. I tried that one and was super disappointed. Torchlight 2 is the best of the bunch. Anyway, and I got Kingdom Come Deliverance, which has always been very highly regarded, but buggy, and I think it must be playable by now, right?
You think so?
And it was $7. And I also got that new Torment game, the spiritual successor to Torment Planescape. That thing was on sale for $3. And that's got like 9 ratings, like 9s.
I think I might have that in my library too, and I've never played it.
I grabbed that one because I have been enjoying that type of top-down RPG lately. Though I'm not sure what I'm going to play next because I also have Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire waiting for me on my Xbox. Anyway, that's it. That's how I leveled up. What about you, Jim?
Hey, I've been watching a show on Amazon Prime about Josh Brolin's Time Hole.
Whoa, Time Hole.
Yeah, it's called
Now,
Outer Range.
Hey, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
I was interested in that show, and then I remember you telling, and now I was probably intoxicated, so maybe it was somebody else. Somebody telling me it was too dark to watch.
No. Too dark to watch? Like, like, upsetting?
No.
Like too
physically
like you can't
dark.
see it?
Yes.
No, not at all. Most of the show takes place outside during the day. So it's not too dark to watch. It is like a sci-fi mystery show about Josh Brolin is like a rancher, and there's all kinds of weird time stuff kind of happening, and he notices like a big void on his ranch property that seemingly has like time bending properties.
Ooh, that sounds fantastic.
And it's actually this really cool mystery. It's got a great cast. I like it a lot. It's only, I think 4 of 8 episodes have been released, like two episodes every Friday until it's finished. But I'm really digging it. I think it's great. It's kind of like, I've never seen the show Yellowstone, but people say it's kind of like Yellowstone meets, I don't know,
sci-fi.
A time hole. Yellowstone meets a time hole, and it's.
I mean,
great.
Yellowstone is supposed to be like The Sopranos meets a ranch.
It's supposed to be like dudes. It's a show for dudes. For dudes.
Jim's been going on about Josh Brolin's hole all week.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot about
Josh Brolin's hole.
Yeah, and never once has he said anything about a time hole. He just
Until today,
keeps sending
he did
messages.
say time hole
I did
today.
say time hole today.
He just keeps sending messages to the chat about Josh Brolin's hole over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's good. It's a good show. It's very much like my thing. And I would recommend you guys check it out. Watch the first episode, and I would say if you're not hooked after the first episode, because it's definitely like hits the ground running with the mystery stuff. Maybe it's not for you, but maybe check out the first episode. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah.
I love Josh Brolin. I love a Western. I love a sci-fi. This
It's
is a
all
combination
those
of things I love.
and it's got like a crime element to it. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah,
Sure.
I was
That-
interested
yeah.
in it, and then I thought somebody said not to watch it. I thought it was you.
No, yeah,
I
no,
wonder
it
who
wasn't me.
was. You know what? It was probably John.
No.
Yeah, I feel like it was John.
Speaking of John, how did you level up?
Well, first I have to tell you that that Hollywood actor James Hong is getting star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
James Hong from Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's great in it.
And Wayne's
Yeah.
World, Big Trouble in Little China, all sorts of things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He has like so many credits on his IMDb, like over 400 or something like that.
He's been
like,
in
he's been in
hundreds
so much
of
stuff.
movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's great.
He's fantastic, yeah.
My brother always calls him Hollywood actor James Hong, so that is in honor of my brother.
He was born in 1929. Suck
wow.
on that.
That's
He
incredible.
must be one of the oldest working actors now, right?
He's actually the founder of like some kind of nonprofit that specifically promotes like Asian actors, and he has been since like the 70s or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
it's
because I was
really
thinking
cool.
he was old. I mean, in Big Trouble in Little China, he had like old people face paint, like makeup on, but like in Wayne's
Yeah.
World, he was in his 70s or something. I was a kid
Yeah.
a teen watching that.
Watching Big Trouble in Little China in HD You can really see the seams on that makeup.
But
Some of those movies were not meant to be seen in high def.
So this week, I've been playing more games. I played some games with Julio. We've been playing Borderlands 3, which is good if you turn off the voice acting for the first couple hours, because there's some bad stuff in that. It's a great game. I think that the bad guys are so annoying that it kind of makes the game hard to play, but the actual gameplay is great. I think it's maybe the best playing Borderlands. Like, the combat is wonderful.
Interesting.
But just, yeah, the jokes really misfire a lot of the times.
That's kind of like, that's a symptom of Borderlands writing, I think.
Sometimes, I don't know, like, I love the adventure game. Like, but that, when Borderlands, I think...
Oh, by the way, another piece of hot gaming news, sorry to interrupt, but they announced a new Tales from the Borderlands game is in development, which,
nice.
I know that you and Vanessa particularly love those.
Yeah,
love
that was really...
game.
That first series was really good. And the original Tiny Tina's Bunkers and Badasses, which was like her D&D playthrough, it was DLC for Borderlands 2, like, was so well acted that the poignant, like, emotional beats that come with that game are like, get me on borderline of tears. Like,
wow, it's
a really, like, that DLC is one of the best DLCs ever made. It's so good. So strongly recommend that if you haven't played it. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a sequel to it. I haven't played that yet, but apparently people who like Tiny Tina and like that stuff are enjoying it. So I don't know.
I see a lot of people streaming it on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Tales from the Borderland was the first Borderland property I played, and that made it very strange because you're introduced to this world in a way that was not originally conceived to be the way to get into the world. And also, Handsome Jack is in it, but he's dead. And it was very, very unusual, but I liked it very much. And of course, it's the game that made me fall in love with that dashing rogue, Handsome Jack. How can you not? Handsome's right in his name. What a great guy.
It's true. And like, Handsome Jack in the pre-sequel is interesting too, because that's before he like has his breakdown. Anyway, there's a lot
talking about breakdown.
What?
He doesn't have a breakdown. He's a genius. He's a great guy.
Yeah. There's absolutely no problems with him or anything he does. I don't know. I think that game is at its best when it doesn't try to do like, here's our Rick and Morty parody characters.
Yeah.
And,
it
tries
totally.
to like, if it takes its world seriously, I think it's really good. But when it's just bad jokes, or like, the problem with 3 is that its main characters are like making fun of streamers, but not in a fun way, but in a way that's like, if you like Twitch streamers, you're an idiot kind of way. Like, it's...
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, that's what kind of turned me off of Borderlands 3, is there's so much like pop culture tinted humor in it that it just kind of turned me off.
And it's the first game to make me dislike Claptrap, who I used to like. But they also fired the original voice actor and replaced him because he was an employee who was not making anything extra for playing Claptrap, and then asked for a raise, and they fired him.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been playing that, and I also, speaking of bad humor, this is another plug for Gayest Episode Ever. We've advertised on them before. They are a fun podcast, and they're doing a Patreon episode on the show called Madame's Place, which I'd never heard of. Have any of you?
Madame's Place?
No, just Madame. Like,
Madame.
Have any of you heard of the show Madame's Place?
No.
It is from 1982. It is starring Waylon Jennings, who is a gay, like in real life is a gay puppeteer, sort of like that one guy. You know, that guy with the puppets? Anyway, he has
Jim Henson.
No, he has the one who has all the racist puppets, like Jeff something. Anyway, sort of that style comedian. And this is one of his characters, is Madame, and she's like a Fay Ray kind of like horny old woman character. And so they gave her own show. and like treating her like she's a real woman. So, Jeff is hidden in furniture and stuff. Or not Jeff, Wayland. And its humor is so poorly thought out. Like, the first joke of the series is that she gets a horse telegram, and and when it leaves, it's not the first joke, but it's like the end of the first scene. The banger for that is when the horse telegram, which is two people in a horse suit, leave, and she's like, "Oh, I finally get a horse on my ranch like I've always wanted, and it's a gelding." She wanted to get fucked by that horse. That puppet was horny for horse dick. And there's just
John. I was away for a moment, but you couldn't think of the guy's name. It's he's the puppet master for the Fantastic Four. Alicia Masters is his daughter, and she marries the Thing.
Yeah, that's
right.
It.
He makes the puppets of the Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Vanessa, back me up here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still hung up on the horse thing.
I also finished Severance. Thumbs up. What a great finale. The end of episode 8 had me covering my mouth, gasping.
Oh yeah.
So
it makes
good.
the most mundane shit the most tense thing you've ever seen, and that's brilliant. And I would like to point out again that I think not all of, but I think the majority of the episodes directed by Ben Stiller. We knew that guy was a genius.
I think he's. I mean, he did. I've never seen that Walter Mitty movie, but I hear it's very well directed. I feel like it's pretty saccharine, but I think
don't know what you're talking about.
it's pretty well directed. He did
Yeah,
an
the
adaptation of The Secret Life of
cinematography
Walter Mitty
on that show on Severance is incredible. I mean, he's not the DP,
it's so good, yeah.
But yeah, the cinematography is amazing, and the editing is
It's-
great,
yeah, so
and the
good.
performances.
Severance. I wanted to point out that Ben Stiller directed those because it surprised me, but I'm not trying to give him credit for everything. I mean, everything about those shows pops. That show pops. I was saying early on before John had finished it, so trying to be vague, that what's so smart, and you realize, I think, particularly going into the end of the season, is that they've not told you anything about the outside world. Even when you've seen it, it looks normal, but things are off, and you don't know anything. It could be 50 years in the future. It could be tomorrow. We don't know what the fuck is happening.
One thing that I thought was
it's great, though. I love it.
interesting. Yeah, going back, because I watched the beginning with Julio yesterday, and in the parking lot, everyone's got old cars. All the cars are from the 70s. But you do see some characters driving slightly newer ones, and I thought that was an interesting detail, that every single car in that parking lot, and you see hundreds of cars, they're all from 60s and 70s, and then some characters drive some slightly newer ones from the 80s, and that's it. And I thought that was really interesting. But
That's
And some of
that's
the
really
cell
interesting.
phones aren't looking like smartphones,
the flip phones.
Yeah, it's nothing is
Oh, I
quite
didn't notice that.
current technology. But yeah, I think we talked about this, and I was saying that if the show turned out to be this is the only town on Earth, I'd be yeah, sure, that tracks. They've so made it so it
Yeah.
could be anything. But what I
It
really
could be
love
so many things.
is how there's sort of these four main core characters, and you're invited to two of them from the first episode, I would say, and be rooting for two of them. But the other two, by the end of the series, I was rooting for them just as hard,
Yeah,
if not
for
harder.
sure.
Oh, me too, totally.
For sure. And they've got brilliant actors in place for those roles. One of whom is a legend, and one of whom
little
loves
pocket there.
Spider-Man.
yeah,
I saw on Twitter they said this summer is hot John Turturro summer between the Batman and Severance, and I gotta
fucking good in the
agree,
Batman.
dude is looking good.
Wait, hang on. Jim, I thought you hated the Batman.
no, that's
I didn't like the Batman, but I like John Turturro.
It's Jim, you liked the Batman a lot. We talked for a week about how much you liked it. And then a week later, you were agreeing with Johnny that it was the worst movie ever. It's the biggest flip-flop I've ever seen in my entire
I
life.
processed it.
It's the biggest flip-flop I've ever seen in my entire life, and we can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry.
It's like one of those movies. While you're watching it, you're yeah, this is pretty good, and then
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
a little bit later, you're I don't really remember anything about the movie.
How is your bad memory a movie's fault?
All
Stop
right, level
smoking
up.
marijuana.
that's it for our level ups. And
I can remember plenty.
let's move on to the quest log. But first, a word from our sponsor that we promise will not be 10 minutes long.
I'm surprised we didn't get any complaints about that, honestly.
Support for Square Roots this
Jimmy
week
Carr is
I can
funnier.
smell your balls from
is
here.
brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Jokes.
I haven't started the bit yet. Manscaped recently launched
Starting the bit.
in 1 second. I'll tell you. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SQUAREROOTS at manscaped.com. And Square Roots is helping support Johnny's Tight 5 on testicle hair that I've talked about before. And now, finally, I'm here at this comedy club to deliver my Tight 5 on ball hair. All right. Who here has overly long ball hair, huh? Am I right? Am I right that it just...
How dare you?
Okay, sorry. Only people with testicles. This joke, don't worry, if you don't have testicles, my ball hair... Hold on, I gotta go through my notes. My ball hair grows so long, and it doesn't stop growing. And you think, like,
Is your ball hair that long?
yeah, it's really long.
Yeah, you got a Straganona in there brewing up some ball hair in her pot.
What?
Straganona,
I can
the
smell your
classic
testicles from here, and they smell
children's
bad.
literature character, and she made
All
her
right.
Type 5
So-
is being delivered at an educators conference.
I've been shaving my ball hairs for years, and I keep getting cuts because I use crappy. You know those. I'm not gonna say the company.
Also,
You know those.
You can't see them over your belly.
Oh, you're so mean. I'm just trying to be funny here. I
Get
just.
good, pube noob.
But I cut myself with the cheap. You guys have cheap razors, right? Have you used a cheap razor and then it snags your balls and goes like, "Meow," and you're like, oh god, and it bleeds so much. Why do your balls bleed so? They don't need that much blood. What? I don't shake. We're talking about balls here. Why are you so mean? All right, so I found, believe me, the best trimmer I've ever used, and it's part of the Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped. It has made ball shaving a game changer. Now I got a close crop.
You're not being facetious. I want to make it clear.
Yeah.
You've confessed. This is a real happen.
Like, yeah, unlike those other crappy trimmers, this one actually trims, and it's got some good guards, so you can go from, totally smooth like Jim likes to whatever length you want. Like, they got all sorts of length.
What length did you use?
I
was
used-
shorter
Guard
than
number.
the set.
I used the bigger guard, the guard number 2.
Oh, so you like some heft?
And yeah, this is a well-made
What are the
trimmer.
names?
It
What
worked.
are the names of your balls?
I've never named them. I did call my ex's penis Mrs. Cunningham.
This is too real.
That is true.
Why'd you call it Mrs. Cunningham?
Because it made him upset. I was like, oh, hello, Mrs. Cunningham. And he'd be like, don't
The
call my
mom
penis
from
that.
Happy Days?
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, but the 4th generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade
Johnny likes to emasculate men before he
to reduce grooming accidents.
John's a pickup artist.
Thanks to their advanced skin safe technology, the Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 400K LED spotlight. Yeah, you know what? I can use this in the
This could
shower
use some ball
because I don't know
deodorizer.
about the rest of you. Have you ever come home and one of your many boyfriends has left like a pile of ball hair on the floor. It is literally the worst. But with
Has
this,
that happened to you in real life?
Well,
yes,
I mean, John,
this literally has happened to me, and I think you can guess which. I think you know which one I'm talking
Imagine
about.
stepping in a pile of pubes when you go to the bathroom. Gross.
He was not good at the, like various things you trim.
Manscaped does not endorse leaving your pubes.
Well, that's why it's
That's why
waterproof.
they give you those great mats.
It's so that it's water resistant, so you can do it in the shower, and it's going like down the drain to oblivion.
Plug your drain out.
Do you want to take
Manscaped,
your
help me
grooming
with my
game
facial hair.
to the next level? Because the Performance Package 4.0 includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, which I used today.
I'd like you to whack my
Because every
weed.
single hair on my body won't stop growing. My eyebrows will grow to 3 inches if I don't stop them. My nose hair goes... I've plucked nose hairs that were like 2 inches long, and it is disgusting. My balls stink. And with the Manscaped Crop Preserver below the waist deodorant and the Crop Reviver below the waist toner will change the way that you approach your daily care.
You should have used
routine.
it before you got on stage.
Honestly, can I say something about the ball toner? I think I was a little on the fence about actually using a product called a ball toner. One, because I don't really understand what those words mean in the context of my genitals. But, I actually use it pretty regularly because it smells so good. It smells amazing, and I think everyone should use it.
And I agree. And if you want to order that Performance Package 4.0, they will throw in those super soft Manscaped boxers that Vanessa loves and the Shed traveling bag. So you can take your comfort to the next level because those are super soft. Yeah, so if you want to take care of yourself, go to manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SquareRoots. All one word.
Free global shipping for our listeners. You can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SquareRoots at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code SquareRoots. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Get off the stage!
Get off the stage! Play him off!
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Why is there a big hook? No! All right, and now we're back with the quest log.
The quest log. 2 people left us during the break.
Yes, that's true. They are gone
They
forever.
left us.
There's no
John,
more
I
Jim.
trimmed my beard during the break. Did you see?
Yeah, looks good. Jim doesn't feel well, and Vanessa's not gonna play this game.
Yeah, Vanessa's taking this game off, but she's been gracious enough to agree to still be on the show and be in the level ups and hang out. But,
she's actually here right now. She's just being very quiet.
Yeah, yes, she's just gonna be super quiet this whole episode.
Yep. So you
I'm
just
not a real gamer. Yeah, Vanessa, you don't
Wow.
get to talk now.
Vanessa, come on. We should
Come on,
also
Vanessa.
mention
Don't
this
talk
is
about
the
yourself like that.
311th episode of Mainline Square Roots, which does mean that we do have to come original.
Yeah, we do have to come original all over the amber, which is the color of your energy.
And I don't know why Jim isn't here because he's the world's biggest 311 fan.
I know. He's such a dork for missing out on this huge, momentous occasion. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This week, Jonathan Brandon, full name, is going to...
It's not my name.
is going to... Jonathan Brandon is going to wrap this entire quest log to 311 beats.
Stalactite Cavern. It's Stalactite Cavern. You and Bart have to work together in Stalactite Cavern. That's as much as I can do. Or whoa, Bart realizes you are an avid soldier. Whoa. Then you push a big rock with strange parts, mechs, hydraulics. There you go. That's about as... I only know those 2 songs.
Yeah. You do only know those 2 songs. Well, let's
Jim's
see.
the real expert, and he's not here.
Yeah. What was their first song? Was it... It wasn't Come Original.
I feel
It
like
wasn't
Come
Amber's
Original...
The Color of My Energy.
No, I think that
It
was
was,
the follow-up.
Yeah, what was their first hit? I'm positive the song was named like fucking, Get It or something. Absolutely
No, that's Sugar Ray.
No, that's Sugar Ray. Let's see. 311 Day, 311 Caribbean Festival Cruises, and 311 Powwow Festival.
Oh, wow. I can go on a
311.
cruise with 311? That's amazing.
Okay, here we go.
All the music being played on
Down, of course it was Down, and all mixed up. Amber and the other one aren't even on this fucking first album.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Down, I remember that, and all mixed up. Don't know what to do. Next thing I turn around and there's a mech and it's you.
Oh, yeah, that one. They were really ska-y back then.
I fell out of recording last time, and John and Jim graciously did not point out that I had snoozed off and had to be excused.
Mm-hmm. It's all right.
You know what? I had a bad week.
Yeah.
But regardless, maybe you can remind me where we left off.
Okay.
What happened last time? I remember we were in a village.
Yeah.
We killed everyone in the village,
Mm-hmm.
and then they kicked us out of the village, and we ran away with our doctor buddy.
Yeah. Mysterious
Our
doctor
cool,
buddy who
slightly
knows...
older doctor who seems to be really interested in us and follows us everywhere we go.
Well, yeah, he does seem to know secrets and has like a backstory of talking to a floating emperor. Remember that? Remember he talked to a floating emperor in one of those
whatever you say.
flashbacks? He like there, and his mission is to kill God. No, wait, that's the bad guy's mission is to kill God.
Well, everybody knows evolution is a lie, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah, that was the worst part of this game so far.
Well, no, this is a fictional land, so like they're saying in this land, evolution stopped 10,000 years ago, and then suddenly we came. Or I don't know. We'll get there. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to specifically talk about we got to that airship prison, we broke out, and then we met our new best friend,
Bart.
Well,
Bart does attack you, and he thinks that you're a soldier, and you two fight and fall
he's got a big
through the
red
sand.
mech.
Yeah, a big red mech named Brigadier.
Did we describe him last time? Because
don't
he's quite a
think so.
character. Good, because I like this design. I really do. He's blonde. He's got curtains. He's got blonde curtains, an eye patch, a jaunty, great, almost looks like an Eddie Murphy with the sleeves and the midriff cut off vest. Great white pants or like chaps maybe.
Yeah, they're white chaps over his jeans.
Over his like black jeans, which is a real sharp look, to be honest with you. That junk is really, really defined. And he carries a whip, and he wears cool, futuristic-looking like moon cowboy boots. I love this character. His name is Bert.
Yes, Bart. Bartholomew.
Bert Simpson.
Bartholomew Fatima.
Bert Simzan.
Are you saying he's anime Bart?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They took Bart Simpson and they stuck him in this game and put him in a mech.
All right, yeah, that works. Don't have a cow, man. So it took me.
If he doesn't say "don't have a cow, man" at least once in this game, I'll eat my hat.
Will he tell someone to eat his shorts?
I don't own any hats, but
Did you?
yes,
So
never
I've
mind.
never seen. I forget what movie it is. It's one of those like teen comedies of the '80s. I feel like it's like Rock and Roll High School or one of those other ones, and that's where
you're gonna have to be more specific.
Eat My Shorts comes from. Like one of the
Oh, I don't
characters
know.
says that. I feel like it's Robert Downey Jr. Is he in one of those movies?
I don't know. I didn't really watch that genre of film as a young lad.
But that's
It
where
seemed
that's
stupid.
from. I just thought that was a weird thing to say, and just to realize that Bart was like saying a catchphrase from another movie of the same time, which is a lot like, the Looney Tunes and stuff did that as well, like using catchphrases from popular media. And then their use of the catchphrase becomes much more known than the media they're referencing, which is very weird. Anyway, this first cavern took me, without a joke here, half an hour to leave. Like that first room, it took me so long to figure out how to get out of it.
It's a nightmare. You will never escape this. This is the Hotel Anime California.
Uh-huh. I listened to the Gypsy Kings version of that. They are Romani, so it's okay. Of that song. The one that was in Big Lebowski. It's such a good cover. I don't know if you've heard that.
You know what? That's a good suggestion. I should add that to my rotation.
It is a great version of that song.
You and Bart have
Push
to work
the
together.
rock.
After
Yeah.
Bart realizes you are a naval soldier, first push a rock, which strains Bart's mech hydraulics. There's robots that heal you. You can fight old man Balthazar's house.
Okay.
It wasn't very good.
That,
I'm sorry,
well,
listeners.
I knew which song you're doing, so that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you, after you push a rock, you do find old man Balthazar's house. He calls himself a Fassbinder, a Fass bucket. I don't know, something weird, or a collector. He likes to.
Yeah, it is something weird. I was honestly baffled by this.
He's like, or a collector of old things. So he likes to find. He's sort of an amateur archaeologist, and he lines up all these skulls and these animal skulls and notes, hey, do you notice one thing? The oldest human fossil stops
Are
at
all mixed up, and you don't know what to do. You're gonna get so tired of
Nat,
this.
you need to turn your energy down to amber. Right now it's like, I don't know, cerulean. And that's too much.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. Turn your energy down.
Down.
So he's like, obviously, the theory of evolution is a lie that is taught to you by Ethos, which is the supercomputer that controls everything or something. I don't exactly know what Ethos is.
Yeah, great question there. They don't really explain this,
But Ethos like
did we
deletes
already
all
deal
knowledge.
with the computer that controlled the future?
Well, they talk about it at the beginning that Ethos like controls knowledge, and so like Ethos is like planting the idea of evolution as a false flag because really it doesn't want people to know the truth that creationism is the way to go, and that he Balthazar is
The
like
greatest lie the devil ever told is that the greatest lie that Ethos ever told was that humans evolved
from apes.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, I prefer to old legends. And Faye's like, what old legends? What do you mean, old man? He's like, I have a quote. Here's his explanation of what's up. Haven't you heard of this story? They say that humans and gods live together in a paradise in the sky. With God's protection, there was no fear of death, and natural disasters were entirely unknown. Then one day, humans ate a forbidden fruit, which gave them incredible wisdom. But God drove mankind from the paradise for their sin. Bitter at having been driven out of paradise, humans used the wisdom they had to make giants. With these giants, they planned to challenge God himself. But God poured his wrath down on them. All who defied God were destroyed, but God himself did not escape unharmed. Taking paradise with him, the wounded God buried himself deep beneath the ocean to sleep for eons. Right before going to sleep, God used his remaining power to create right-hearted humans.
Right-hearted humans.
To live on this planet. Do
you think he means like humans that have the right heart, or do you think he means humans who have a heart on the right side of their chest?
I don't.
You don't know.
No. Because that could be like the lambs have their heart, or have like a reversed physiology from the other types of humans, the underground ones. Or it could be like right as in correct thinking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the game's going to explain it. These people are said to be our ancestors.
Let's not get our hopes up here, all right? I got to be honest with you. After 6 years of JRPGs, one thing that I've really come to realize is that there is no deeper meaning to any of this because it's all bullshit that dummies made up. Anyway.
I don't know. I mean, I'm enjoying this game. It's not the worst one we've played in terms of story. I think it's kind of interesting. It's pretentious, but kind of interesting.
You're right. I'm being too harsh on it. It's fun to see like a Gundam style game. Boy, it feels like they could have not tried to just be like every mech anime, though, right? Special boy touches the mech and it comes awake, and he is the only person that can pilot it, and it's the most powerful one in the universe.
But he's very
it's
depressed.
a Gundam story, or Neon, or any of that crap.
Yeah.
Is he depressed? He seems fine.
No. This whole all the part on the Yggrasil is him like super depressed and not wanting to do anything or fight. So you get. He's like, okay, all I need you to do are turn off these 2 sand sensors. And I saw one of them in the opening room. But at this point, I did realize I hate navigating these environments so much that I've just been using the most popular GameFAQs walkthrough because it has reasonably good maps. Although he doesn't always put north at the top, so you have to be careful.
Oh, really?
Look at his compasses.
I'll have to look that up because this is a nightmare without, like, I mean, I'm not saying a mini map, but if you can't at least give me like a pause map to reference what the fuck is going on, then oof.
Yeah. This
like
game,
Square Games had maps by now. This is bullshit. It's not like this is not technology that they have.
I don't know. No, Grandia didn't have maps. Grandia had those things that you could like step on, and it showed you a zoomed out view of the dungeon.
Oh yeah,
which was
that was at least more
better.
handy than. That's better than nothing, and this is nothing.
Yeah. So
right,
I've been.
What happens next?
Using these this GameFAQ just to help with navigation because I don't want to have random encounters while I'm struggling with the camera and getting lost and all that.
I mean, in this canyon, I got turned around so many times that I would and some of the tunnels were like minutes long of just going in one direction.
Yes.
And I would get turned around or something because of the battles and suddenly just pop back out where I started and be like, what the fuck?
And there's 2 tunnels in this canyon that look exactly alike, but they're different. One of them's longer.
Yeah.
So you find
this is a bad level design. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And the jumping does not help.
Well, it makes it worse because because the jumping's so wishy-washy that you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to jump up here, and I'm just not doing the jump right, or I can't jump up here. Most of the time you can't, but sometimes it's like, oh no, you can. You just have to take a running jump.
Yeah, you should take a running jump, and that can be unwieldy as well.
None of these dungeons need running jumps, at least for this chunker. So that's good.
Well, and I definitely forgot that you could jump in the mech in the first place for a while. I was like, what? This thing jumps? It's a fucking mech.
Yeah, mech's got booster rockets. You've seen an anime.
Yes.
So you turn off these 2 sand sensors, and then meanwhile, old man Balthazar does fix your mechs, and then he opens up the gate, which does let the sand through, but that's fine. And you make your way to the exit, only to be stopped by one angry mech that does like a flyby. He's got huge like rocket booster packs on him, but he is a pushover, and Bart actually makes fun of what a crappy mech he is after you knock him down. And he like sparks all over the place. But then it turns out he was not down for the count and swoops back at you guys and was about to kill Bart. But then Faye uses some unknown technique he doesn't know how to do to blast that robot into dust. And Bart's like, wow, you're amazing. We could really use your power. And Faye's like, my power? I don't want to be used. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, he's all PTSD'd because he killed his own village. It's a bummer.
Yes. I do not mean to downplay the depression he has as a result of accidentally murdering everyone he loves. It was...
Yeah, but get over it.
And we've got a whole game to play here. We can't have...
Yeah, I imagine he'll get over it pretty quick.
Yeah, he does. He gets over it in the next area. So you exit and get picked up by the Yggrasil, which is his sand ship there, his sand cruiser.
Yeah.
And you get in... So I do kind of... Unlike Vagrant Story, which is a couple of years after this, so like Square had some time to really master their polygons and their cutscenes. The cutscenes in this game are not super well directed, but they it's like they tried. Like you can't be that mad because they try to make these like really epic little cutscenes with the dinky 3D models they have. So your mechs are brought into this sand cruiser, and then you have this giant hangar, and it does this thing that Chrono Trigger did a little bit, where your guys are like little tiny dots on the map.
Oh yeah.
And I like that.
I love this stuff. Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah. Except that this location, the hangar in the Yggrasil, it has one door on the north side that you can open that looks just like all these other doors you can't open on the map. And the only thing that gives it away is that there's a NPC standing next to it who's also like 3 dots high. And unless you move the camera around, you can't see this door. I looked up the map in that game facts, and the map was all kind of weird, and I couldn't figure out where to go. For the longest time, then I read a few different ones that said that, use the door on the north side. So I had to like turn the camera so that north was up. And then I saw
Did we mention that you can get in and out of the mechs?
No.
Like there's a part in the cavern where
fun.
you have to get out and like go into Balthazar's house to talk to him.
Yeah.
And you're like teensy on the map. Like
And
it's
you
kind of like
don't-
Blaster Master. It's kind of fun.
Oh, one thing. There's 2 more things I want to talk about for the cavern, actually. Did you fight any of those mayflies where they took over? There's these mechs that you can run into that will literally heal you and refill your gas. And
really? No. And I was fucking struggling. I was real low.
They're called like fix robots or something. And if you just like don't fight them, they'll heal you eventually. Like they had a 2 out of 5 chance of hitting you for 1 damage, a 2 out of 5 chance of refueling you, and a 1 out of 5 chance of restoring your 200 hit points. So it took me like half an hour to get fully healed up from them. But they do heal you eventually. And also you can start like from Bartholomew, you can buy your first sets of mech parts to make your armor stronger. I recommend.
Oh, really? Shoot.
Yeah, definitely do this in the hangar in Yggrasil. There's that's the best store in this chunker is that one. I guess it has the best armor and stuff you can get for it. And you can also within the options menu, you'll find these extra armor +1s or +2s and equip those because that'll give you more defense. And those are really useful too. But those are like a different thing than the armor and parts that I'm talking about. There's
a lot.
There's sub menus and explore all the menus because you can equip stuff on there and you can buy new parts which make your mechs way better. Like I've already gone up, to 1,800 fuel or 2,000 fuel or something. And
oh wow! Yeah. All right, I'll look at that. I don't have that yet.
But Yggrasil has
all mixed up. Don't know what to do. Need to refuel my armor. So do you.
That's pretty good. So this place is just really hard to navigate. I love the little zoomed out look though, and the little teeny tiny Fae walking around. Saitan is there on the ship with that guy he was making friends with, Sigurd and Maison, who are the retainers for the prince. Bart sort of apologizes, and Maison's really egging someone on, right? Not edge someone on. Yeah, egging.
Yeah.
yeah.
Edging someone is something entirely
That's
different.
True. Yeah. So Maison is trying to get Bart to apologize. Bart sort of badly apologizes, and everyone, like, you talk to 5 different people that ask you to please be Bart's friend. You get like yes or no options, which is weird. When Bart gets to home base, he does give some kids some amber, which is really cute. You dock with this home base.
And that obviously really helps that kid's energy.
Oh my god, yes, I didn't think about that. Wow, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together like it was all
Originally.
mixed up, and now it's all coming together originally.
Yes. The amber does have a bug in it, just like the song. The amber I give you has a bug in it. Whoa.
Yep.
And the kids are like, that's amazing.
Spotify's going to hate this episode.
I don't think our singing is that good. You have the world's longest tea scene where everyone has tea, and it's cute. The little cups are 3D models that like float up to everyone's faces and then float down back to the table. It is adorable.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maison explains how Bartholomew is the son of Edbart Fatima IV, who was killed by Shakan, who had a coup and took over the city of Bledavik. And
Okay, if you say
Yeah.
so.
yeah. So that's why Bartholomew is a prince, and they spread the rumor that Bartholomew was killed by Shakan just like the rest of his family, but he's actually quite alive, as you know. He has half of an amulet, which may be a map to the Fatima Jasper, the great treasure of the Fatima family,
Which is probably a mech.
which I was going to say is probably a mech.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
The other person who has the other half of that amulet is Mother Marguerite of Nisan, which is another town. Actually, if you go there, as soon as you unlock being able to travel on the world map, you should go to Nisan to get the Altima magic, because that's got a V6 with almost 300 horsepower.
You gotta say wink on a podcast, Johnny. You can't do it. You have to say it. You have to describe the action.
That is a
He
joke.
winked surreptitiously. Perfect.
So Bart treats everyone to a slideshow. He's got this giant floor screen showing some ancient scrolls that were all like ancient knowledge, or any knowledge of the past, not just of 10,000 years ago, but of like 500 years ago, is destroyed by Ethos, because Ethos doesn't want people like keeping records. But he has these ancient family scrolls which have been hidden from Ethos that show the king like catching on fire and being given this mech from the sky, and the mech being on fire. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, you know.
And he's like, hey, Faye, with your incredible power, you could like help us regain the city and rescue Marguerite. And Faye's like, no, I don't want to do that. All you want to do is fight. I'm not a fighter. I have no reason to kill anyone. I just want to live a peaceful, normal life. Wah! And he runs out of the room.
We're 10 hours into this video game, but I'm gonna refuse the call.
Yep. He runs out of the room crying. And now you can walk around the base. If you go into Bart's room at this point, Bart, like, you're not supposed to go into Bart's room. And Bart walks in and doesn't see Faye hiding there. And Bart says, maybe I could sneak up on Faye and hide behind an elevator so that I can challenge him and really get to the bottom. Because honestly, I don't have any friends, and I really want Faye to be my friend.
I want Faye to be my friend.
So Faye then goes to the elevator where he was going to meet you. This is all optional. You don't have to do this, but then you have a long talk with him, and Faye's like, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to fight. And Bartholomew apologizes for trying to push him into fighting. He's like, look, I don't want to make you fight if you don't want to fight. And Faye says, yeah, I'm not like you. You love fighting. He's like, I don't love fighting. It's just that I have to. I have to save my family and save my friends and save the people from this dictator that's taken over my kingdom. And it's not because I want to. It's because I have to. And Faye's like, I guess we're both the same.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to have defending your homeland explained to you.
Well, you know, Faye had brain damage, and that's why he was dropped off at that village, right?
Jesus Christ, John.
That's where he doesn't believe in home defense. At night, 5 gears. break into Yggdrasil. It's a pretty fun cutscene because you see like them walking around the hangar from their point of view. It's very Metal Gear-y. You have like a digital screen and they're looking around. And there are 5 named characters I don't know if this is going to be like Final Fantasy Tactics where these people don't matter, but they all have like portraits and everything. There's Breuer, Rank, Stratsky, Helmholtz, and Vance, and they're part of the Kimmy Gibbler army. And so they're there to like blow up their mechs and maybe steal a couple of the good ones. And as soon as they attack, their big alarm sound. Faye wakes up. Everyone's running around, and Faye runs outside and sees Saitan, the Doc, and he's like, "Doc, what are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And Saitan's like, "Faye, you've got to help us, Faye." That's my Christopher Lloyd.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah,
we all got it. He's not that old though. Like he's in his 30s.
Yeah. Well, how old was Christopher Lloyd when he played?
He had white hair.
Well, he was wearing a wig.
Okay, but he had white hair, so he was meant to be a very old man.
Yeah, but of course, because he was supposed to be like in his 70s or something. Let's see. Christopher. Sorry, everyone hates it when I.
No. This is not information that is necessary. That night, 5 gears break into the Yggrasil.
Okay. Yep.
Saitan asks him to help, and he's like, no!
Yeah,
but then he sees some babies
no.
in danger, and then he's like, I have to save the babies.
Yeah, there's a fun
out.
part where you see Bart fighting the mechs, and Bart's fighting them alone. It's one of those things where in-game, he's doing fine, but in world, you're supposed to believe that, oh no, he's in danger, even though he's winning all these fights. But then when those kids are in danger...
Maybe that's just video games.
Yeah, Faye drops
the kids are in danger, and he goes to help him. And Saitan has a mech now, which is...
Yay!
Right?
Yeah, Heimdall. And Heimdall's a cool-looking mech, and you fight... all 3 of you gang up. That's pretty fun. There's a big slam, bash, slam.
There's a big clam slam.
Mm-hmm. And then so they retreat, they fall back, but this means that their pirate base is compromised. They're going to have to leave. And that night, Faye tells Sigurd and Maison that he'll help rescue Margie because doing nothing is worse than trying. I don't know. He's like, it would be worse if I just do nothing because that's letting the bad guys win and letting people get hurt. And he just wants to save people. And that's his character arc so far. So you're going to go to Bledavik, which is the capital of the Fatima Kingdom. It's in the middle of the desert. Now you can drive the Yggdrasil around the world map. Again, you can go to Nisan to get the Altima magic.
Is it really called the Ultima Magic?
No.
What is it called?
There's no magic. You can go there to get it.
You're just an asshole.
I just like making a Nisan Ultimate joke, Matt.
I mean, I got that, but I didn't. I thought maybe there was magic there.
No. There's
magic.
There was a fact that was like, oh, you should get this really good magic doubling artifact there, but it costs 38,000 gil or gold or whatever. And I did the math, and it would take me like 80 fights. I was like, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, that's fine. So I went to Bledavik instead, and as soon as you get to the city, cut to the big airship landing there, and it's being led by Ramses and Myang. They're like 2 futuristic-looking soldiers. I think they're part of the Kimmy Gibbler army. Mm-hmm. Shakan, who's that bad guy that killed the Fatima family, is there, and he has extracted a big weapon. And Ramses is like, oh, that should be given to Vandercom. All he cares about is having big toys.
Yeah, that's
sick burn to Vandercom.
This is all just like nonsense because you don't know what they're talking about or who these people are.
Yep.
You gotta establish this stuff, gang.
So Ramses and Yang go to talk to Margie, the kidnapped girl. She's being held up in a room. We'll talk about it when you get her in the party, but she's a weird looking lady. I don't know how old she's supposed to be. I think like a tween, maybe.
Who knows?
they're asking about if she knows where the other half of that Fatima Jasper crest is, because she only has half of it, and the prince has the other half. And she's like, I don't know, I'm just a girl. Tee hee hee. Could I have some yummy cakes? And Ramses is like, well, we don't have any cakes on hand, but we could try to get you some cakes.
Who doesn't like cake?
Yeah, exactly. So cut back to Faye arriving in the city, and so you're supposed to meet with an informant at the hotel. The fun way in is you can go in through the second floor window, and then she's like, eek, who are these boys in my room? Because she's a nun. But then you're like, hey, we're here to talk to you, and she realizes it's all okay and that the prince is there. So she's part of like the underground movement to help the prince. I got to plug in my headphones.
Bart. All these people love Bart, huh? Bart Simpson of the future. Bart Simpson of the 24th century.
Mm-hmm. And he does say, don't have a cowman. And no,
yep,
he doesn't.
He does.
No, he does not. So she's like, you need to figure out how to get into the castle and how to create a distraction. So you walk around and find these grates. And then you talk to a few people and realize that this old man has a key to the grate. And he can let you into, because those waterways lead directly under the castle, and the prince used to play with them when he was a boy, so he sort of knows his way around. You know,
convenient waterways that the prince knows like the back of his hand.
Exactly. So then you talk to the nun lady again, and she says, okay, well, how are you going to do a distraction? Let's go check out the festival. So you and Saitan go check out the festival. And there's a martial arts tournament. So Faye signs up. You can choose one of several nicknames or combinations of nicknames. I did call him the Ponytailed Slacker. You can also go with Dragon Slaying Slacker, Dragon Slaying Adventurer. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different options to make.
I was Dragon Slaying something. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
We get to do a martial arts tournament, which is pretty classic. Like,
yep. And I like that. So the next day, there's the sort of game splits, and it does it in a really interesting way. That reminds me a bit of like some Final Fantasy VI stuff. So basically, for each fight you do in the tournament, that takes a certain amount of time, and the longer you make a fight take, the more time that Bart has to explore the sewers and the castle. So like the object is really to make fights last as long as possible without being killed, or else, we'll get to what happens, but it's kind of a neat mechanic. But when you get to the fighting tournament, like preparation tent, Dan is there, and Dan says that he has signed up.
Dan from Street Fighter?
Dan
who can't do a real Hadouken?
The little Chucky boy is there, and he says
Chucky boy.
He's
I don't like this.
He's going to murder you. And
does he have a mech now too?
No. Avenge his sister's death. And so you fight through a bunch of people. So it cuts back and forth, but I'll sort of talk about the tournament first and then the sewers after. But the people,
this is I just want to say this is a fantastic idea here. Like, they take a big swing. It's cool, and it does feel a bit like a classic. I'm trying to think of a good comparison. It's not just Dragon Ball. Like, tournament stuff is super classic and like shonen fiction. So it's fun when that type of thing can be worked into something that's not usually worked into something like this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And at the end, they managed to bring in plot elements too, because one of the other guys in the fight is that a man in a hood and a mask who does look like the man who dropped off Faye in the opening cutscene, and he does call Faye instead of Ponytailed Slacker, so you know that something's up. And he's like, "Oh, it's good to see you, Faye. You've grown so much. I want to test your skills." And Faye's like, "What does that mean? Huh? That's weird." So let's go through the fights real fast. Gonzalez, big, gray-skinned, beefy boy. He has a big club. He would be cute if he did not look like a dead body. Next.
Is this supposed to mirror Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, do you think?
No. I don't know. Big Joe's
Joe?
more like Elvis, which I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like Glass Jaw Joe or whatever his name is.
You might have run into him in Dazik, the desert town, where everyone was afraid of him. But he's back, and honestly, he kind of sucks. But he has so many fans that when you attack Joe, they throw their books at you. And you see all these books hit Faye, and they do a lot of damage. Unlike Joe, who does like 2 damage. And next, you have Scud, who is just a pharmacist who like can throw debuffs and buffs himself. He's very, very weak. Unfortunately, I killed him way too fast because I'm supposed to be making these fights take a long time. Yeah, I did it too fast. And then second to last is Dan. And so you have 2 options. You can either beat him up and make a very short fight, or let him fight you and kind of work through his anger at you a bit. And if you let him kind of fight you until he gives up, he cries and says that it sucks. He wanted a real fight and doesn't like that that you're not fighting back. And you say, well, I can't hurt you. You know, I care about you and I still feel terrible about what happened. And he's like, well, you should. You suck. You're a murderer. Here's my sister's wedding dress, which anyone in a very progressive thing can wear as a accessory. Any party member can wear this.
I didn't notice that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And Dan is very sad, but it's like, well, now every time you look at this, you'll think about my sister who you made into a pile of dust. And Faye's like, yeah, that's fair. And then finally you fight the wise man, who is the weird masked man, and he deflects every single attack that Faye does and seems to be invincible, but then he just gives up and he's just like, I just wanted to see how powerful you were, and why are you fighting? And Faye says, well, I'm fighting to find out why I'm here and realize what my purpose is. And he's like, you're just looking down at the ground when you should be looking up. You're better than this, and you should be using your full potential. And you're
well,
getting
you know what's
there.
going to really help that is you being really fucking cryptic about it.
Yep. And he kind of leaves, seems a little disappointed in Faye. And Faye's like, no, I want to help people. Come back. And then the whole crowd is very upset that the fight sucked. But Faye wins by default. Meanwhile, in the sewers, this mechanic...
I just kind of fought through these. I did not realize there was all this stuff.
Yeah, so walking through the sewers sucks because the water keeps pushing. Like, basically, the gates keep opening and closing. When the gates are open, the water pushes you back and you can't move, which makes it it's a short little dungeon, but it takes a long time to walk through because of not being able to move or being pushed back by the water if you aren't like forcing yourself against the current, literally running against it. So the longer you have... I mean,
thankfully, this is a video game, so literally running against it means holding down a button.
Yeah, it still kind of hurts. Like, you know, I'm using the little PS3 controller, which is not super comfortable, and holding those buttons down is like...
I mean, the way I have to play it, but because I have to play it, I'm playing it on my tablet. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of, like... playing like this.
Could you use one of those like
this finger holds down the run button and this finger hits the jump button while these, you know. I do have an 8-bit DOE controller. I've never been able to get it to work on fucking anything.
Oh,
and it's Bluetooth, and it's never worked on anything that I've had.
Try the Xbox controller.
You think that'll connect to the tablet?
Yeah, they're Bluetooth. The new
It could be worth a shot. I mean, it's not impossible to play at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm getting through it. It doesn't hurt my hands. The reason I'm doing it on the Android is because playing on the Vita makes my hand cramp.
Right.
And like, this is awkward, but it doesn't make my hand cramp. So.
Did you ever get a PS TV? I can't remember.
I did a long, long time ago. I do have it. It's like in my garage somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to, I'll keep my Vita non-hacked, but I'm going to hack the PS TV because you can make it a lot better. Like, make it less fuzzy.
I mean, I've got a Raspberry Pi. Like, what's the point?
Oh, it
does the same thing.
Okay. So.
But honestly, I prefer, with stuff like this, I don't mind playing it on my tablet. It's kind of nice.
So, you make it through the sewers. You talk to the old man who's like, oh, you are looking like a boy I used to know, but much older version of that boy. And then the prince is like, yeah, I know. We used to play around here and you used to hate it when I came around. And he's like, oh, but that boy's long dead. And the prince is like, or is that boy long dead? The old man's like, I'm going to talk for 16 more text boxes about how I thought you were dead because the game is literally trying to waste your time. Like, it's on purpose that the old man talks this long to sort of stretch out the time that you should have been using to get to the castle.
Remember Final Fantasy X and the guy that would always talk for like 10 fucking pages?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy's
Final
like
Fantasy
that.
X is such a good game.
Yes, it is a better game than this one. What? Who said that?
It is a much better game than this one. It's also a later era game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think like Final Fantasy IX is a better.
As we will be finding out by the end of this, as it's it's well known, this game is like bad. It does not really end, and that's unacceptable. Like it just kind of shits out a text-based ending.
I don't know how this game ends, so I'm curious to see what happens. But right now, I'm enjoying it. It's just the navigating the maps is my only criticism because I think the combat's
there's a lot
great.
of. I mean, there's a reason it's a cult classic. It is unique and it's certainly fun. I agree with you. The combat's fun as fuck.
Yeah. Did you realize if you hit the right on the D-pad when you have attack brought up in the fight, it goes to combo, and all those AP points that you save can be used so you can do like you can string together multiple attacks from that combo menu.
I did know of the menu, but I have not been able to use it yet for some reason. But yes, yeah, I mean, it's pretty fucking amazing. The combo stuff is really fun.
You can like end your combos early and then save the AP. And then if you save up like 10 or 20 AP points, then you can string a bunch of stuff together for like super powerful attacks. I don't know. It's neat. I think that there's some fun stuff to be. I've only done a couple of those because saving AP is sort of a pain in the ass and it doesn't seem worth it. But it's a bit like
it's one of those things where when we're in longer fights with bosses and mini bosses and tough enemies, this will be hopefully a fun and cool mechanic. But right now, I could barely understand how I'm charging AP. It does not make a lot of sense to me. I should really read a FAQ on the combat.
Yeah.
I honestly
I just looked up, I Googled, how does the combo system work? And saw,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. Saw an explanation of that. But it is a bit like the Bravely Default system, but it's just not as well implemented.
Yeah. I loved the Bravely Default system, but I don't want that in every game. Like, it was unique, but it also was, like, a lot. You know? It was really unique. Like, if every game was like that, I would get bored of it super fast.
And they're putting it in pretty much every game they do, though. Like, Octopath Traveler has the same combat. It's by the same people and has the Bravely Default combat.
Oh, system. Really? It's on Game Pass. I just downloaded it. I've been downloading RPGs left and right. I'm waiting for something to hook me again. Divinity Original Sin 2 hooked the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. And it was really great. And then immediately thereafter, Elden Ring hooked me. And then immediately after that, Tunic hooked me. And I've been just drifting ever since.
Yeah, I've been playing Borderlands 3 again. And the combat's so good in that, but I talked about that in my level up. The combat's great, but the dialogue, a lot of times you can just mute because it's not that interesting. So
I know I'm playing my go-to need something to play right now, as I think I said last night, is Torchlight 2, which takes exactly 0 thinking. Mm-hmm. There's barely I don't even read the quests. It does not matter. It's like World of Warcraft. Just send me towards the exclamation point. All right, go ahead.
You get to the castle, and this is one of those castles where lots of big empty rooms. The most of the treasure you find is pointless and, not worth getting, like their potions. And you can buy better potions at the store. Why do this game? But there is a good whip for Bart, and then there's some 8 pieces of armor you can pick up. But as soon as the time has run out from
8?
phase...
It's a lot.
Yeah, they're all the same armor too, so I don't know if I'm going to use it all. But if Faye's still fighting, there's no guards walking around. But if the tournament is over, then the castle's suddenly full of guards. So it's basically as soon as I got there, the castle was full of guards 1 minute in, and I was like, oh, But I mean, they're so easy. They're pushovers to fight. So it's
Yeah, And also, like, I like the combat, and you know what? Like, one thing that I've noticed is that being bad at this game means that I'm getting into a lot more fights than I should be. So I'm pretty well leveled up.
yeah. And I ended up leveling.
I'm
up Bard a
grinding
lot.
by sucking.
Yeah. by taking too quick of a time to get through the tournament and taking too long in the waterways, I have now leveled up Bard a lot because I ended up fighting a lot in the castle. You make it to this level's too big, and there's all these guards that will run at you as soon as they see you, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I got a bad. It gives me a bad feeling about the rest of the game. Like that Rogue Galaxy syndrome of like, what do we do? Let's triple the size of the dungeon. Mm-hmm. God, remember those fucking twin towers in fucking Rogue Galaxy?
That was 7 hours to do one dungeon is insane.
Yeah, it's too much.
So you get to the top, you find the room with the little kid in it, and she's like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd come save me, cousin Bart. It's so great. I'm gonna go pick up my toy." Let's look at that little picture I attached here in the notes of Margie. She's got like a sci-fi armor with big you know how like sci-fi things always have big gems.
Yeah, big circly gems. Mm-hmm. And but she's got a very ragged tunic or cloak. Mm-hmm. And a big stupid looking hat. Like a real stupid looking
with a big
headpiece.
bow on it. That has an oversized
Oh, is that a bow?
In the back. Yeah, it's a big bow in the back. And
she does have the big, super long, like Doctor Strange collar, popped collar, and I dig that. I like a big popped collar.
And she also picks up her stuffed animal that they gave her at this castle, Chew, who is a nightmare.
It's a hamster or a gerbil.
Yeah, and
It's adorable.
look at those little hands. Those are gonna rip your face off.
Well, I mean, it's a little more realistic on the hands and feet than these things usually are, but yeah, that's what fucking hamster hands look like.
Anyway, this thing is a nightmare, but she has to save it. As soon as you walk outside, you do run into Miang and Ramses, who are those Kimmy Gibbler soldiers. And so both Margie and Miang kind of hang to the side of this fight, buffing their respective sides, and Miang will get rid of any debuffs you put onto Ramses, which sucks because I got that whip, the Kraka whip that I don't know about that. The Kraka whip you find.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
That's not okay, though.
Anyway, the poison whip you find poisons every attack, which is really useful, except that Biang immediately dismisses it. The thing I didn't it took me way too long to figure out in this fight. Whenever Ramses has his sword up, don't attack him. It should be obvious. He does say he's using like a counter. And I was like, I'm just going to keep attacking. Why am I getting all this damage? And I almost got killed a couple of times and went through all my like good healing items until I realized do not attack him when your sword is up. And
His sword is up.
And then Faye dives in to help. And Faye does use like a super amazing technique, of course, to defeat Ramses. And Ramses is like, what is that technique?
He fucking Kamehamehas him with his fucking mech. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, he's not in his mech. He's just there, just hanging out.
Oh.
Yeah, he comes in and then just uses his super kung fu powers to bash Ramses, and Ramses is like, what is this technique? He has so much power. Have I seen this man before? And then Ramses gets a flashback to a guy who kind of looks like Faye and uses the same sort of moves as Faye, but is like fire elemental. He looks like, do you remember in Final Fantasy VI when What's-Her-Face turns into that gem monster and like flies around? Terra,
duh.
You take an elevator down and Bart's like, this elevator wasn't in the castle when I lived here, so I don't know where this is going. But guess what? It takes you all the way down to a secret Kimmy Gibbler base. And you know who was there? Ellie.
Who?
Your friend from last time. Space Girl, Ellie.
Oh, yeah, Space Girl. I liked Ellie. Is she going to join the party now?
No. She's like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? I'll help you. And Bart's like, she can't help you. She's part of the Kimmy Gibbler army. But she's like, no, you can trust me. And he assures
Can't
Faye
imagine why you would. She's the one that left the mech in your town.
That's
I
true.
would not trust her as far as I could throw her.
But she apologizes again for that. Faye says he already knew about it. It's fine. They're fine. She helps you escape in a mech. And then you get out of there and go back instantly to the Yggdrasil. And when you get to the Yggdrasil and Margie is saved, you do run into Chu, who's blocking the door. And if you try pressing X on Chu seems to say something, and everyone thinks that Faye is pulling a prank. But Chu talks and says you can't go through here. What is Chu hiding? What is Chu's secret? But first, before we figure that out, and we're playing to next
Square
time,
Roots. I was muted.
Johnny's
I didn't realize I was muted.
bullshit minigame corner. Whoa, Johnny's bullshit minigame corner is
Hell yeah.
here now. Let's talk about playing hide and seek. There's a mini game.
John, I think it's been like fucking 5 seasons since we've had a Johnny's bullshit minigame.
There
corner.
hasn't been bullshit
This
mini games.
Deserves celebration.
There are mini games at
I'm
the
gonna
festival,
pop my confetti.
but I couldn't play them.
I'm gonna have a drink in your honor.
But you can
You
play
can't have
hide
this
and
drink
seek.
because you live in Canada.
So if you play hide and seek, of course, the first thing you hear is the vocoder haunting voice saying, "Where are we? What the hell is going on? Dust has only just begun to form. DMCA takedowns." So I can't keep singing my perfect rendition of Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap. So yeah, you can find this.
That's not a 311 song, and it's 311 day. So get fucked.
But
Cut that.
That's a good song.
I mean, how dare you say that 311 doesn't make good songs?
I
I mean,
will-
they're terrible.
Listeners, 311 does not make good songs.
They don't. John, look at the terrible cut here. Like in 2 days, it'll look normal.
It looks
again.
good.
But
I
right
like
now,
that. You ever cut your beard to like a cool angle, like where it cuts off here? Oh, that's fun.
oh, that's a fun idea. I finally had to do my mustache today. I was trying to grow it out and like let it get legit long, and it kind of did, but like it just you can't keep it out of your mouth, and I could not handle it. So
you
I
can't.
I used the Manscaper today, and I trimmed this thing down to like a point. But I'll tell you what now, after a few months of letting it grow long, this is just a mustache now. I can shave all this off and just be a mustache.
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. My mustache grows in really fast, anyways.
My mustache has never been particularly great, but it's gotten better.
Mine
over the
reappears
years.
in about 36 hours if I shave it.
You're a real Homer Simpson.
Yeah. Boop. So, hide and seek. You talk to the kid in Bledavik, and he will hide around the city, and you have to find him. And the game sort of plays with the terrible camera because you can see like the edge of his character. Like if you turn the camera a certain way, and that's how you find him. I feel like Grandia did this, or Breath of Fire. One of the games we played did this before.
Both of them did this. Both of them. I definitely Breath of Fire did, because I definitely remember the hide and seek in the capital.
Yeah.
And Grandia I did not play much of. But
Yeah.
I think there was definitely a hide and seek in Grandia.
So it's like that. We have to move the camera just right to find the kid. You get a hide and seek badge. I guess this goes with my Jankin badge from last time. Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's Johnny's bullshit minigame corner. I couldn't find, like, Saitan wouldn't let me play any of the mini games at the festival, so I assume we're going to go back there and play them later. Next time,
Exciting.
I keep changing this because it's very hard to tell how long these chapters are going to take. Sometimes they're 20 minutes.
It is.
Sometimes they're like 8 hours, and I don't understand it.
You know, I think our listeners will be understanding with us if we give it a fuzzy
Yeah.
a soft endpoint. Johnny, what's that going to be?
Faye wakes up in the D block prison or 6 hours of game time, whatever comes first.
Faye, of course, will be waking up in another prison. So, what do you think? This is the second. Do you think there's going to be more?
Yep. Yeah, it seems
Why
like
is he
Faye
always
wakes
in
up
prison?
at places a lot, usually in prison. So he's just a prison boy. He likes prison life.
I mean, that's just classic storytelling. How do you move the scene along? Knock your protagonist out.
And wake up in a prison. And,
Wake
I think
up
it's a commentary
anywhere,
on
really.
the institutionalized carceration system that is for profit and, a detriment to society. Right?
I 100% agree with that, but I don't know why we're talking about it at the end of this episode. Squarely against.
Squarely against. Matt, what are you squarely against?
Well, if you're going to call on me first, then I'm going to steal it. Obviously, that cavern is a nightmare. It's tough. And it's not that it's tough hard. It's tough. Where am I? What am I doing? Where do I go? I hate this. There's not a map. I hate this. I want out of here. I hate this.
Yep.
It sucks. Bad level design, gang. Bad level design. That's problem one. That's what I would call real problem one in this game. There's some issues, it's janky, the camera sucks, but those are excusable, but bad level design, inexcusable at this point in time. Johnny, what about you? What are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for. I did actually go to Nisan to see what those things for sale were and found out that they're 38,000 gold, so I didn't buy them. And just like the
Go find the Altima.
trying to be cinematic shots with these really crappy models are so cute, and it's really
cute.
great. It's great that
You
they
know,
tried.
Final Fantasy
watching
Tactics
these.
has crappy models and cute
Yeah,
scenes,
but
and
I
that's
feel
what
like
I love about it. Now it's a little different because that's the
I feel like
diorama.
the art design works better in Tactics, which did come out the same year as this, so I do feel like Tactics. Although it seems like
that's weird. I mean, it must just be my own when I played them doesn't line up with this, but I remember it being like, I don't remember these games all coming out together.
Well, yeah, like
year or
Square released so many games within 4 years, and I think that was to the detriment of Xenogears because they only had a couple years to make this game. And
Yeah, it's been chronicled, and I
Yeah.
don't think we necessarily need to get into
Well, I
it. They
think
were
we should
rushed. They
sometime-
didn't
like-
have the resources.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. We should. But
when we
not
get
right
to when it we should start guessing.
When it starts falling apart.
Yeah.
Disc 2. It's Disc 2. I know. I didn't play through it, but I watched a friend play through Disc 1. I don't remember a lot of the details, but I definitely remember like the combat, the mechs. Like I remember
It
some of
seems
this.
because right now it seems really like high production value, even if it looks a bit crappy. It's got these really nice
high production value for PlayStation 1.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
voiced animate cutscenes and everything. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll see where.
It's weird how
where
we
that
lived
goes.
through an era of what is essentially animation that was absolutely horrid, but we just kind of have accepted it and now look back on it fondly, even though for the rest of all time, everybody will be like, yeah, this just looks normal, right? It's kind of like how once movies had sound and color, like the 70s era, and then after that, everything's kind of homogenous.
Yes, in the
That's where we are
1970s,
with
where
games
movies
now.
started getting sound and color.
No. Well, you're right. I'm an idiot, but
All right, so we sorry emailers, I don't have access to the email.
it's too late.
It's too
we
late.
fucked this episode up.
Yeah.
I don't know, John. I think we should try to do this split recording again, though. I liked this a lot more.
Yeah, I think it's good to not have a marathon.
It's
session.
nice being at the end of the night, at the end of recording, and being like, it's not midnight, and I'm not dying. All right, anyway, let's get through it. So, squarely against, no emails. So let's talk about our Patreon. John, did you know that we have a Patreon?
I do know that we have a Patreon.
Listeners, if you aren't aware, which I'm positive that you are, but if you are somehow not aware, we are in 2022, the year chosen by you. All of our games this year are going to be votes. Xenogears is the winner of a previous losers bracket, and we plan on doing more things like that because the brackets were very
Very fun.
exciting for everybody.
Yeah.
And It's going to be a fun year. And if you want to be involved in the votes, then you need to log on to patreon.com/SquareRootsPodcast and sign up for our top tier. It's our $5 tier. We're not cheap. Sorry, we're not cheap.
Actually,
but if you want to vote,
like, there's a bunch of podcasts are like, if you want our special episodes, it's like $10 or $15 a month. I'm like, come on, $10?
All right. One bonus of being a patron is that we will read your name at the end of each episode. Well, a smattering.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start us off. I'd like to thank our best friend, Joshua W. Broxson, as well as our close friend, Ari Karpovara, and the rest of our friends, Metal Gear Solid 2 in 2022, Eric Poirier, Robert Impolam, Tracy, Johnny Five Alive, Jake Dickerson, Vanessa's mom has a terrifying stuffed animal, David Shook, Aiden Marriott, Life is a Party, and I am a Pinata, Ward Childress, Robert T., Ricky Barty, Alex Dillard, William Westgard, Rachel, Saving Sid, Oh, You Don't Have the Right, Wah Wah Wee Wah, Matthew Casterline, Grey Code, James, and Michael McDonough.
I'd like to thank Kodab Games, Tyler Crump, Chris Ryan, Kita Renee Prince Fuentes wants to make the world smooth, Ian Frederick, Paul Birch, Stu, Skeel, Andy Smith, Cerberus, Minotaur, Matt Newland, Alexander Jokic, Amanda Parsons, Tyler, Evan K, Jason Timms, Angel, just call them Angel, Chad Wilson, darling.
Baby.
It's Tom David Arnold and Eduardo Franco, Square Toots, Kyle Ryan
If you're going to
Miller.
sing the fucking Patreon list to a song, it better be a 311 song.
Ryan Miller is the color of my energy. Oh. Vanessa Fan, Elden Ring, D's nuts. Elden Ring, D's nuts. Send us an email, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We will figure out a way with our new style of doing it. Maybe we'll have to record it separately or something. We'll figure it out. We're just tired, okay? We're tired. It was a long week of doing emails.
It was a fucking long week.
Yeah.
We just need to... We need to actually read them next time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Well, yeah.
It ain't complicated, dog.
Yeah. Maybe we'll figure out a special recording email time or something. I don't know. I
Please.
don't have access to the email.
You're reaching way too far.
Okay.
Alrighty, friends, send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. If you hate email, but you still want to talk to us, first place to find us, Facebook. I know, it's a garbage place, but we're still there for now. The Facebook, the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. And, of course, you can tweet at us at Square Roots Pod.
That's on the Elon Musk Bird app, right?
Oh, boy.
He hasn't bought
I
it yet.
already don't like Twitter, but if he buys Twitter, I'm gone.
Yeah, me too. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. I hope you like the sci-fi version we have. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes. And Spotify listeners, if you are wondering where all our old episodes are, you can check out our archives at squareroots.libsyn.com or sign up on an RSS feed. For Square Roots, I've been Johnny Brandon.
I'm Matthew Van Zandt.
Bye. Bye. It's the color of my binergy. Bye. Oh. Fire elemental? He looks like, do you remember in Final Fantasy VI when What's-Her-Face turns into that gem monster and like flies around? The main character lady. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, the crystal gems, and they go across the universe and meet Steven. I know what you're talking about.
No, main lady from... I always give her different names, and now I'm blanking on what her real name is.
Which game?
Final Fantasy VI.
I have only played that game the one time, John. I am not going to remember the details. The main lady?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean when what's her fuck goes Super Saiyan and turns purple and glows?
Yes. Yeah, that's what Faye looks like in Ramses's...
It's not trance, but it's like trance.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it is trance.
Maybe it is. He's all flashing and glowy. And
no, in Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, Final Fantasy IX is trance. Oh yeah, Esper.
Yeah, she's an Esper. What is her name? Let's see. There's Edgar. There's not
green hair.
Yeah, green hair girl. Let's see. I'm just gonna Google it. I can edit
hot.
this out.
So hot.
Why are you so hot?
Because I'm in a closet, John. I
Terra.
can hear my AC
Terra.
blowing outside. Terra, duh.
You know, Matt, this was a perfect opportunity for you to claim that I'd never played it because I couldn't know the name of the main character. But you missed that.
I fucked it up. That's all right. You know why? Because I'm all mixed up and I don't know what to do. Next thing I turn around and I see a person and it's you, and you've never played Final Fantasy VI, so that's how we get down.
Yeah, it's true. That is how we get down. I've got it up, Matt. So I've got a bit for this that I will need all your help for. My bit is.
Where's it up? You said it's up.
Oh no, I mean I've got it up for me. I've got from the email.
Oh well, that's super helpful.
Well,
John.
no, I'm giving you instructions on how to do this. That
was some Veep humor for you.
Oh, okay.
Where you just start screaming at people really meanly.
I don't want to scream.
Johnny hate that.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild how mean these people are to each other. And by the end of the show, some of them legitimately hate each other. By the end of Veep, I kind of hate all of them.
So Matt,
they're sociopaths. They're monsters.
It's smart. I have the Manscaped talking points I can put in the drive if you
send them to maybe we should put them in a folder in the drive.
Xena.
But I'm going to be steering this one. I'll hit the talking points. Although my premise is I'm going to be at a comedy club and you're all heckling me. That's all I need you three to do.
Sure.
I haven't started yet.